Hey too, this is my very first video on this channel. This is Riverside Capital. I just thought of sharing my journey and sharing some analysis that I'm often do every weekends or every week. And what you can expect from this channel is something like weekly analysis of forex pairs and futures. Um, I can later on can shift to stocks as well. But for now, as I'm most likely going to be speaking to myself in these next few videos, I thought just of analyzing these pairs and the pair that I trade. I only trade Euro USD at the moment. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here to share my opinion. Um, and yeah, this is all based on ICT concepts, at least the way I see them. And so I usually I trade the lower time frames. I'm a scalper, so I don't pay much attention to the higher time frames. I do because I like to analyze them, but it does not take much part on my strategy per se. But yeah, just thought of doing some analysis. You can expect at least 1 or 2 videos a week. We'll see how this goes, and we'll see if I have any audience to share, or at least to share more videos a week. But we'll see. So what I can see, I can start with the Dixie, so the DXY, which is uh, the US in this, so the US dollar. We can see the strength of the dollar or the weakness. I actually took a look at this earlier on, and it's as you can see, as you will see, and you probably have opportunity. You had opportunity to see this from other YouTubers or other, or if you're trading yourself, you see that sometimes you don't know what our predictions doesn't actually matter that much, because you can be wrong and make money, and you can be right and lose money. So if you're a trader, you already know that. I'm not a full-time trader as of yet. I have a day job. I'm a part-time trader. I'm applying for funding, as many people are. So you, just to say that sometimes we don't know where the market is heading, and that's okay. You know, for the DXY, I can see that we're um, we're coming from a weekly fair value gap, right? But we already swept some sort of sell side liquidity, right? And so external liquidity, whatever you want to call it. So we might do a pullback, right? We might do some kind of pullback right here. Overall, I can see this to be my overall target in the oops in the long term, most likely. I don't know if you can see this, you probably can, but just make it a bit more thicker. This I can see this as a long-term target, right? I'm on the weekly time frame, so it will take a bit of time to reach these prices, right? On the daily, that's why this is a bit confusing. I already did some analysis on this, but nothing major, because it's a bit confusing, because we swept liquidity, right? And we came from the fair value gap, but we left equal highs, so it's a bit of a mix, right? And when you have a bit of a mix on the DXY, the majors, the forex majors will suffer a bit in terms of direction, and that sometimes can happen. I'm just highlighting here the volume imbalance. I know that there's well, this is for the lower time frames. That's why that's all right. I'll just change the color. I'm If you can see, I'm just kind of taking the two volume imbalances into account. Just so it's just a visual thing. I could do this one and this one, uh, but just so we know that we're reacting from this value imbalance. The bodies are staying below it. So this could mean that we might see lower prices for the next few days. We'll see what happens. We have Fed Chair Powell's speech on or 26. So 26 is Thursday, right? And what I usually do is I analyze some pairs and some stocks just because I want to, right? Because my strategy is on the lower time frames. I don't actually need the higher time frames for this, but I do it nonetheless. And I usually check the calendar, right? As you all should. I don't know why the yellow things are showing up. They shouldn't, but I'll solve this. I'll solve this in the next few hours. Um, and I pay attention to the red folders, right? I think many of you do as well. So just so you know, I pay attention to the red folders. I don't care about the yellow ones. And so yeah, we have bank holiday tomorrow, but this is for Japan, so it might not have many impact for you unless you trade the Asian session and AUD USD, for example, or NZD USD. I actually used to trade Asian session when I was working night shifts. But anyway, anyhow, so on the DXY, a bit of a range, right? I don't have a particular direction for the XY just for now, just as of now. Um, but we might go lower. We might the weekly is most certainly drawing this. So I would say we are most likely getting lower on the DXY, and we can just shift to another one. Let's start with Euro USD EU. It's the pair that I trade. So my drawn liquidity, it's pretty clear on this pair. I may be wrong, of course. We all know how that goes, but for me, that's that's my drawn liquidity. So DOL for me, it's drawn liquidity. That's what I think can happen in the next few days, most likely this week. So draw on liquidity, it's a ICT term. You already know if you follow ICTs. So I was trying to just add this on. Yeah, we already breached this fair value gap, right? Let me just change the color. And I was actually, when I was trading around here, uh, when I was trading right, sorry, when I was trading about here, I was aiming to for that fair value gap, but that's just past. So you may say, oh yeah, it's not it's easy to know when you're already there, but you'll see in the next few weeks some analysis that I do are kind of accurate, but that's not a reassurance or a guarantee that you'll make money, whatever. Just so you know. So EU, I'm bullish, right? We just we just tap this FEG here, I would say, yeah. And since that this was what this I think this was not an NFP, no. What was it? Let me just check, sorry. This was what was not CPY. No, FOMC. It was FOMC, right? Okay. Yeah, this was FOMC. And we just shut down, tapped the fair value gap, and moved higher. So I would say this is my drawn liquidity on the Euro USD. This is already a pair that I trade, so the analysis was already done. But if you can see GBP USD, for example, GU, I have done no analysis on this pair. Let's start with the weekly. Okay, I can see a volume imbalance here. So this might be already tapping there. Let me see. Yep. So already tapping on this volume imbalance. We came from this fair value gap. We left a breakaway gap here, right? Just type this for you guys. Breakaway gap. So this was a breakaway gap, and this is now the fair value gap from where we just showed up, and we're now tapping on this volume imbalance, right? Yeah, I have, I have the volume imbalance for the lower time frames. That's why it keeps disappearing. Whatever. Um, so we might get some sort of pullback. I would say that's pretty much what can happen, right? We can for sure uh, pull back to no, I wouldn't say we will pull back to this fair value gap once again. That would not be a good sign for bullish, if you're bullish. But I would say not this one, higher time frame or order block. Yeah, this is an order block, right? And you're already tapping on this fair value gap. So if you're going to stay bullish and maybe attack this high, and ultimately these equal highs. Let me just add this higher time frame liquidity. Yeah, equal highs, right? If we're to attack these equal highs, I would say this volume imbalance must, of course, fail, right? And but we might get a reaction from here. And what I would say this Monday, this is GBP USD. Let me just check. We do have some news on Euro side, so we might get some volatility. We might get some volatility. We'll see if Monday forms kind of an inside day, or at least a candle that will not engulf this one. And if that doesn't happen, we will have a fair value gap, right? Most likely we will have another fair value gap. If we do, I would expect price from bouncing from this new fair value gap upwards, right? If we manage to Monday, of course, this is the weekly time frame. I'm sorry, so this is going to take a bit more time. Let's see the daily. So this is the weekly possible fair value gap that will be formed on the next week. So doesn't matter for now. This is the weekly one. Let me just put this here. I don't usually analyze that much the weekly. I'm just showing this for YouTube purposes. We'll see if I continue to do this or not. We don't actually have a fair value gap here. So I would say if we are to remain bullish, I want to see us closing on the upper quadrant of this volume imbalance. Let me add the middle line. I think more a bit more thickness. So if we manage to close in this area here, I would say that we're pretty much bullish all the way. And I'll have to check better and see better and analyze further. But I would say we will remain bullish. I don't see any fair value gap on this leg. So I would say that if we close below this F point in red, right? This gap, this is a wick, which is a gap, as if you follow ICT concepts. If we close here in this area, we might go seriously lower because I don't see any gap to support price. Then we do have a breaker block here. This is for the lower time frame as well. I have to change this. Whatever. This is the breaker block, so it's in green. Okay, I just changed it. What the hell? Middle. All right, I just wanted to change this. Okay. So I can see this breaker block maybe supporting price, but this is this is done on the daily, and I can see this a bit of retracement. Too much if we're to remain bullish, you know, and if we are deeply retracing from a volume imbalance, a weekly volume imbalance, I would say that's not good news for if you're bullish, right? But yeah, so just trying to summarize on GU, I would say I'm bullish. Of course, we're bullish. You can counter trend until pretty much the half point of this week, and that I would say it's a great target for counter trends, you know, and then you can follow up with a trend. And if we close below this halfway point, this red line, I would say that we will probably head to this breaker block. But if we close below this order block here, this is the weekly one. This is the weekly one. So we don't need that. If we close below, just a second, where I'm blind. Okay. If we close below this, the halfway, which is the consequent encroachment, or the mean threshold. I think it's the mean threshold. Sorry, the terms sometimes evade me. If we close below this half point, we're definitely bearish, and I would say we will attack this low here. So that's a prediction for the next few weeks. We'll see what happens. But I'm bullish on GU, and I'll say that you might trade lower until this halfway point. We also have this old low, which might support price. So until then, I will probably short if the conditions met, for example. But as a prediction, a daily prediction or a weekly prediction, I would say bullish, and we might have a retracement like Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we might go resume low higher. We'll see what happens. So I'll just add an annotation here just so we can see next week if I was right or wrong. Excuse me. So halfway point, I'm bullish. We'll see what happens next week. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to analyze every week, and then on the follow-up week, we'll see if I was wrong, right, whatever. Just see how wrong I was or how close I was for predicting price. Let's move on to USD GPY. I'm only doing majors, Forex majors, and we'll see what happens if the audience grows and anyone wants a specific pair or market to be analyzed. I'll do it, no problem at all. Quickly on USD GPY, we just swap a low and we're moving higher. We're tapping on this harder block here. Not going to spend much time there. We're now tapping on this fair value gap, right? Higher time frame, yeah. We're now tapping this fair value gap. My thought process is if we close again, it's pretty much the same thing. I don't change much. Yeah, I don't change much. If we close above this dotted line, right? It close above, I would say we'll target. We have another one small here, but I wouldn't, I'm not comfortable at saying that this will hold price. So if we close completely and we invert this fair value gap, we will most likely get this high. But we'll see what Monday holds, because we're now reacting, and we already are reacting, and so we'll see what happens. We might head lower from here. We're pretty much bearish, so we'll see. Just a possible scenario. Let's imagine this is USD GPY. I don't think we have much news on USD PMI. This is the flash manufacturing, flash service. I don't see this as having. Well, we'll see. As it's PMI, we might have great volatility being certain in the markets. We'll see what happens. But just a prediction for Monday or Tuesday. If Monday and Tuesday, and if we close below this open of this candle, I will say we will attack this low, right? We will attack this low for sure. That's of course, I'm being probably too confident, but I would say that we will most likely attack this low here, because we're reacting from a fair value gap. We are already doing another, especially if we close this one. If we close below this one, we are already doing another block lower from this fair value gap, so we will attack this low. For now, we're clearly bearish, right? But we swept major liquidity from the weekly. but now we're touching this fair value gap. So if you're an intraday trader, you can short from here. Again, not a financial advice. You have to do your own due diligence, and this is just my opinion. And this is just for entertainment purposes, of course. I can see an inverted fair value gap here, so this is good for bullish um, narratives. So we'll see again on the low time frame this template. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I would like to see this one fail, so being inverted, being completely inverted, for continuously, for confidently saying we will attack this high. If we start moving lower from this fair value gap and we create an order block here, yeah, so you're going to definitely go here. That's what I think. So this is USD GPY. Let us just, USD CHF is a bit shit. Sorry, but it is. And this is also something that you have to be aware of. When markets are really, really, really bad, and you can say for certain which direction is it heading, just avoid it, right? There's too many markets to trade from, so you don't need to know every direction. But I can clearly see this is now equal highs. And when I see this on the lower time frames, I'll show you in the next weeks, next days, some trades that I take, and you'll see that, and you probably see this as well on your own trading. But when I see equal lows or highs being formed right here, something like this, and you're already on the trade, and you're already short, for example, if you're short from here, for example, let's imagine this is on the lower time frames, 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever. If you're already short from here, for example, and you actually see this, let me just market replay this. Okay, if you see something like this huge bullish candle against you, I mean, if you're taking one to twos, you're already out of the trade, right? But let's say that this is your target, right? When you see this, you might get, okay, I'm going to be stopped out. Or even better, if you don't see that one reacting from a fair value gap, and especially if you see another bullish candle here, right? You might think, okay, it's going to stop me out, going for my stop loss, which should be at break even or whatever. But when I see this, and I don't see a major low or high, in this case a low, because this is a bearish scenario. When I see this, I'm hopeful. I don't feel I'm this used to be a problem with me, but for now it's not. I feel that, okay, great. This is just forming equal lows, and we will attack those equal lows after they are formed. So that's what I'm trying to say, and you can see that this failed. Okay, this is hindsight, of course, but these to me, these two lows here, these to me are they're toast, right? I firmly believe that we will take these lows for sure. So my drawn liquidity for USD CHF, which sucks. This is on the weekly. Right, this past month was complete shit on USD CHF. But I would say we're bearish. We'll cease to be bearish if we invert this fair value gap. So if we invert this fair value gap, most likely we will head for this high here. Sorry. But for now, I would say we're bearish. Where's my... Here it is. I would say we're bearish, right? Done. Next. AUD. I used to trade this pair a lot when I traded the Asian session. I used to love this pair because it wasn't too violent. It was really clean and not too violent at all for my taste. So we're bullish. I would guess we will form a fair value gap here, most likely. We'll see. This is already an order block. Where is, okay. This is already an order block. This is my drawn liquidity. I'll just type it so we can see next week, if next week or next few weeks, if I was correct or wrong. So I'm bullish, bullish. We might get a retracement. This is another one. Okay, USD CAD, as we're now approaching the 25 minutes or mark, or the 30 minutes. I try to ramble not so much and be more proactive. A huge pool of liquidity on USD CAD. God damn. But we're kind of bearish right now, I would say. Let me just see. This is, to me, this is all low resistant liquidity. That's what it is. Trendline liquidity, whatever you want to call it. I would say this is going to be done. And we're now supporting price. I can see a volume imbalance here. Just so you guys know. I'm trying to be quicker. I don't want anyone to fall asleep, especially in the first video, but whatever. We move. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. It doesn't matter much, this volume imbalance, just so you know that I'm seeing it. I would not want to see a close above this fair value gap. If we are, we might tap this one. We might tap this one, of course, and we have another one here, but we might tap this one and move lower. But if we're to close above this one and invert it, and then invert this one, I'm not seeing this fair value gap holding price, honestly. I'm not. I'm seeing this low going, this high, sorry, going, this high going, and we're going to shoot higher. That's what I think. This is breaker block. Also supporting price. So you can imagine that if we close above this one, there's not much things or PDRA supporting price to go lower, right? So this is what I'm seeing. And we're now holding the bodies on this 50% of this fair value gap, which honestly you should do this. We're kind of holding. So this is my drawn liquidity. Ultimately this one, I don't want to overload my charts. It's just so I get used to this, to have things on the chart, just so when people see it, if people see this video, understand what I'm saying and what I'm doing. If I just talk, I don't think many people will understand what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. What the hell? Oh, okay. So yeah, this is my drawn liquidity right now. We're going lower. That's what I say. That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, who cares? You shouldn't care either. You just should follow your plan and trade your plan. That's it. NZD-USD, which is, yeah, correlated with AUD-USD, so pretty much the same thing, right? A bit slower to reach this order block, but I would say we're bullish. This is my draw. So whenever you see DOL, DOL on my charts, it's my draw on liquidity. So ultimately, this is my draw and this is my draw. Pretty easy on these two pairs. So if I would trade something on the higher time frames, this is on the weekly. I keep forgetting the weekly, that I'm on the weekly. Yeah, I mean, sorry, and I moved to USD CAD, so just so you see. Yeah, daily is a bit shit. We're reacting from this fair value gap. Wait. Yeah, we might invert this. Honestly, we might invert this. we might invert this. When you see yellows on my uh, a yellow fair value gap, it's a potential inverted or an inverted, already inverted fair value gap, sorry. So yeah, on the daily, on the USD CAD, sorry, um, I think we might invert this and head for the doll. So let's keep it clean. It's actually a fair value gap also on the weekly. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's keep on the week. Yeah, I'm bullish on the weekly. I'm bullish on the daily. Okay, so New Zealand USD. Uh, uh, so NZD USD, ADSD, same thing. Bullish, bullish. The XY we already say that it's a bit weird, but I would say we're bearish. So if we're bearish on the XY, the US dollar, we should be bullish on everything against USD. Everything XX USD, we should be bullish. And it's aligning because Euro USD is also, I am also bullish. AUD USD, NZD USD also bullish. And I'm bearish on the USD CHF. So it's not the same as Euro USD, right? And GBP USD, I'm bullish. So yeah, it's prime. It's prime to show the sorry to long the majors against USD. And finally, so we can close this video, I'm going to, and you probably will see this. I'm not going to be on the weekly on this one on futures. This doesn't really matter. So you probably seeing this. What's US if you're from America? What's USD US 500? This is just the CFD. We can I can use the feed from the futures, but trading those, it requires for me to pay for a new feed, and I may do this in the next. I may do this, but I didn't feel like to. So as I'm trading only Euro USD U, I didn't feel the need to purchase the feed for the futures. So I just used the US 500 and the US 100, which are the same. This is the Nasdaq index, and this is the S&P 500 index. So it's the same thing. You have some differences, of course, but it's nothing that will hinder your trading or harm you in any way. So what I can see that we're pumping higher, right? I think everyone can see this. It's a breaker. So I'm bullish, of course. Um, Pretty easy. Sometimes it's not that easy to see. Uh, just trying to use another color. This is a breaker, and we just swept all-time high. So you're kind of flying blind from here, and I don't like when this happens, but it's nothing much to say. We're just all-time high, so we might continue pumping higher, or we might continue moving lower or going lower from here. Honestly, no one knows. So what I see is we can. It is on the daily. Okay, we might do this. We don't have any fair value gap, so we might do this. We might do this. That's what I think we might do in the next few days or weeks. US 100 a bit decent because we're not flying high. I can see that we bumped this high and we swept liquidity, but this is now equal highs. We have swept it. Okay, we have swept it. We have the breaker here as well. I don't think we're done. I think we will most definitely reach for this fair value gap. So bullish. And ultimately, if we close above this fair value gap, it's always the same process, guys. You'll see me doing this every week. Pretty simple. We'll attack this high. If we close above this fair value gap, we might do, because why? Because you might do this and move lower. We don't know. But if we do this, if we kind of just move past it and close above, and then we find support, yeah, we most definitely will do this. So yeah, this is what I have for today as a first video. I think I rambled for too long, but this is the pairs, the pair that I trade, you, and then I tend to analyze the charts just so I know where we are. And so yeah, thank you for watching, to anyone who's watching this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.